Henry Johnson was born into an America that praised liberty while enforcing silence, a nation that asked him to serve but never truly belong. And from the moment he opened his eyes to the world, life taught him that survival for a black man required endurance long before it required hope. Raised in poverty, shaped by exclusion, and denied opportunity not because of weakness but because of color. Yet when World War I exploded across Europe and the world was dragged into trenches filled with mud, gas, screams, and endless death, Henry Johnson stepped forward not as a symbol, but as a man answering a call that offered no promises, joining the all-black 369. Infantry Regiment, the Harlem Hellfighters, soldiers so deeply distrusted by their own country that they were handed over to French command, stripped of American weapons, forced to fight with foreign rifles and helmets, treated not as defenders of democracy, but as tools to be used and forgotten. Yet irony followed them to the front lines, because these men would spend more time in continuous combat than any other American unit in the war. And on a frozen night in May 1918, fate descended without mercy when German raiders stormed Johnson's outpost under the cover of darkness, grenades tearing the earth apart, bullets slicing through the night air, confusion consuming every second. And in those first violent moments, Henry Johnson was wounded by shrapnel, blood pouring into his eyes, his body already screaming in pain, his fellow soldier Needham Roberts collapsing beside him with devastating injuries. And in that instant, retreat was logical, surrender understandable, death expected. But Henry Johnson chose something greater than survival. He chose resistance, firing his rifle again and again until it jammed, then swinging it like a club when metal failed him, smashing into attackers with raw desperation. And when the rifle broke, he drew his knife, slashing and stabbing as explosions ripped through his flesh, absorbing wound after wound, shot, stabbed, torn, bleeding, yet still advancing. And when the knife bent and weapons were gone, Henry Johnson fought with his bare hands, refusing to let the enemy take another step, refusing to abandon his wounded brother, refusing to become another forgotten body in the mud. And by the time reinforcements finally arrived, the ground around him was scattered with the enemy, more than 20 attackers driven away, at least one killed, a breakthrough prevented, and Henry Johnson standing barely, his body carrying over 20 wounds. An act of bravery so violent, so absolute, so undeniable that even hardened officers were left speechless. And while France immediately honored him with the Croix de Guerre with Palm, one of its highest military decorations, America responded not with celebration but with avoidance. And when the war ended and Johnson returned home, the sound of gunfire faded only to be replaced by something quieter and more cruel: segregation, neglect, poverty, untreated trauma, and institutional indifference. No parade greeted him. No Medal of Honor validated him. No support system carried him. Only a broken body struggling to survive in a nation unwilling to admit that a black man had saved lives and held a front line alone. His injuries destroyed his ability to work. His war memories haunted his nights. His sacrifices earned him nothing but silence. And in 1929, at just 32 years old, Henry Johnson died poor, exhausted, and erased, buried not only beneath the earth but beneath history itself, while the honor he deserved remained trapped behind racism and bureaucracy. Yet truth is patient, and courage leaves scars that time cannot fully hide, and nearly a century later, America was forced to confront its failure. Finally, awarding Henry Johnson the Medal of Honor in 2015, a posthumous confession that bravery had never been the question. Recognition was, and today Henry Johnson's story stands not just as a tale of battlefield heroism, but as an accusation against a nation that celebrates freedom while often denying it. A reminder that some soldiers survive bullets only to be destroyed by neglect, that some wars end with treaties while others continue in silence because Henry Johnson defeated armed enemies on a dark battlefield in France. But he could not defeat the prejudice waiting for him at home, and his legacy now leaves us with a question so heavy it refuses to fade, echoing through history like an open wound. If a man who fought alone against an army could be erased for nearly 100 years, how many other heroes were lost not to war, but to injustice? And whose truth is still waiting, unseen and unheard, to finally be remembered next?